Hello there. Today we are going to look at total surface area of shapes. Last time we looked at area of 2D shapes, like area of triangle, rectangle, sector, and trapezium. And now we're going to look at the surface area of these 3D shapes. So this first question says, find the total surface area of this shape. We have to first identify what shape it is. It's a cylinder, right? And let's draw the net of it. So for surface area, it really helps to draw a net of the shape. And let's draw, so it's a rectangle and two circles. That's what a cylinder is. So it really helps to draw it like that, I think. And we might just drag it down just a little bit. Okay. Now, we need some dimensions on this shape, right? So let's have a look. We've got that the circle has a radius of 5 meters. So let's put some dimensions on this diagram. We know that bit. We know that the height of the cylinder, let's call this the height of the cylinder, is 25 meters. Now, what we also need to find the area of a rectangle, right? Because we need to add up all these areas. So 2 circles and a rectangle. We need this distance. Now have a think about what this length will be. We've got the width, which is weirdly the height of the cylinder. What is this distance? Confuses a lot of people. This distance is going to be the circumference of the circle. So the pink lines that I'm drawing right now, picture those as glue. And when say you've got a can of beans and the labeling, you need to work out the length of the labeling, all right? That is going to glue around the outside of this perimeter. When you roll up that rectangle, it's going to be the circumference of this circle. And what's the rule for circumference? 2 pi r. Remember, area of a circle is pi r squared, circumference 2 pi r. So that's the key to this problem. And then let's just do it. So total surface area, TSA, will be the area of rectangle plus, let's go 2 times area of circle, since there's 2 circles, right? And then, so this is our general plan. So stick to it. This is our planning formula. And I'm going to calculate each of these separately. So first I'm going to find area of rectangle. So if you know surface area of 2D shapes, if you know the area of 2D shapes, you know the surface area of 3D shapes, because you're just adding up a bunch of 2D shapes. Area of rectangle, length times width. The length is 2 pi r, which is interesting, times the width, which is 25. Now, what is r in this? So 2 times pi times the radius of the circle, which is 5. And then we can simplify a little bit. 2 times 5 is 10, times 25 is 250. You can simplify it to that stage if you like, before inputting it to your calculator. Saves a little bit of time. And the answer is 785.4 meters squared. And then we come over here. We've done that. Come back to our plan. Let's find the area of the circle. We're just sticking to our plan. Okay, 2 times area of circle. Well, what's the rule for just an area of a circle? It's got pi r squared, and we're going to be doing that times 2 since there is 2 circles. 2 times pi times, what's our radius? 5 squared. And I'm just going to put that all in my calculator. 157.08 to 2 decimal places. Come back to our plan when it's surface area. Okay, so then we just go up to here. Total surface area. Actually, let's write it underneath the thing. Total surface area is the area of your rectangle. It helps to put a box around your answers that you'll need later on. So I'll just put boxes. 785.4 plus 2 times, oh, actually, we've already times it by 2. So I'll just plug it straight in and see what we get. 785.4 plus 157.08 in my calculator. 942.48. And if you can put a box around it, I know it's a bit messy. And then we need to give meaning to our answer by putting square meters there. So that's introduction to the surface area of a cylinder. And we've got a couple of more. Now, you will actually be given this formula on your formula sheet. Can you see that? You'll have all these surface area formulas, and you're actually given the formula for the surface area of a cylinder. I just wanted you to see why it is that way. Why is 2 pi r in there? But let's check it out. Let's just use this formula. Surface area is 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. And maybe it is time to just do a little net just to convince ourselves. I'm going to put the net over here. Oopsie doopsies. And we'll have we'll have a circle. And we'll have another circle. And we know, so we're just unwrapping this can. It's got a top and a bottom. It's 2 meters there. And we wrap around that outside bit, this distance. So I'm just going to highlight that again. The label of the can wraps around the circumference of the circle. So that's going to be the length of that actual rectangle. So that's 2 pi r. And what do you reckon the height of this rectangle? The height of the rectangle is going to be 3 meters. That's that bit. And once we see that, we can see that this is the rectangle. This bit's the rectangle, and this is the 2 circles. Just like we had a rectangle and 2 circles. It's in this formula. But let's just use it. 2 times pi times the radius of the circle times the height of that rectangle. So let's actually just put h equals 3. And then plus our 2 circles, just substituting right in. 2 times pi times, again, the radius is 2 squared. Now, before inputting this to your calculator, it's nice to simplify it a little bit. So grab all your constants and put them out the front. 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, plus 2 times 2 squared. So 2 squared is 4, times 2 is 8. And so 8 and 2 is 10, 20 pi. And yeah, we've found the surface area of this cylinder, straight up. But still, always draw the net to understand what these variables mean. And that's the answer is an exact value, but let's actually see to 2 decimal places, 62.83. What are the units? It's going to come out as area, so meters squared. And let's try it on this one. So what do we got? Another cylinder. Another cylinder. Just draw the net to get your head around the problem. It's a rectangle and two circles. Now here, what do we notice compared to this one? We were given radius before, but here we are given the diameter. To get the radius, we need to halve the diameter. Now that's important. So on your net, maybe you just want to include the diameter. And then what are the other important dimensions? Remember, what is the length of this rectangle going to be? You're going to be wrapping the rectangle around this circle. Distance around the circle is 2 pi r. And let's check it out. Now we've got all the important bits. Oh, mostly we need what's this distance going to be? That's going to be the height of the cylinder, 7 meters. All right. Once you've got it labeled up, you're all good. And then we just use our formula. S equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. Make sure you substitute in r and not diameter. So r is 2 times the height of that rectangle, which is 7, plus, I like to leave a little bit of space in between, 2 pi times, again, the radius. Now simplify it a little bit by collecting those constants out the front. 2 times 2 is 4 times 7 is 28. And we've got 2 times 2 squared. Well, 2 times 4 is 8 pi. And if you were asked to leave it as an exact value, you would get 36 pi. But we can input that and find it to a few decimal places. 113 point, well, that's it, rounded up. Oh, it will be 113.1 rounded up, sorry. And we input meters, so we should get out square meters, always giving meaning to our answer. So that's our cylinder done. The surface area of this guy. Now, what shape is it to begin with? It is a rectangular prism. And if we look on our formula sheet, we've actually got a formula for it. It might look a little bit scary, so that's why we're going to derive the formula from the net. Now, always just draw the net to get your head around what's going on. Now, if I was to draw the net of this, just a rough net, we're going to have something that folds up. Actually. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, they might just all be a little bit fiddly. But let's make some different size rectangles. So what we've basically got is 3 pairs of rectangles. So that's why I'm making some of them different sizes. Okay. And make sure to include the lid on your rectangular prism. A lot of students forget that, and that's not what we want. So again, this is our 3rd pair of rectangles, and there we go. It's something like that. It's not quite to scale. But see how it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. So it would be something like that. Let's do it. So I like to think of this as you've got a top and a bottom. So let's do it. U equals, so I could say something like the total surface area is 2 times the top. Let's actually highlight these. Oh, whoops. Is that going to work? It better. Good. So, we can simplify our life. 2 times the top rectangle plus 2 times the sides, the side rectangle, plus 2 times the sides, plus, then we've got the front and the back. So maybe lock this in your mind. Sorry, it's so fiddly to watch me with these highlighters. We've got the front and the back. Hopefully you can see the back through there. Plus 2 times the front. And then we're just substituting in. I might actually just make this yellow, just so you know that. And then let's input it all. So they're all rectangles. Now let's have a think of what that top rectangle is. So the top rectangle, or the bottom, whichever one you go for, is 8 by 5. We're looking at the yellow rectangles. And we know that our formula is length times width. So I'm just going to put that straight in. And then we've got our plus 2 times the sides. So I can see my side rectangle is 6 by 5. Plus 2 times the front. Well, I can see my front rectangle is 8 by what? Okay, well, it can be 8 by 6. You can just label all of them. So 2 times the front will mean 2 times 8 times 6. Again, these are all just rectangles, just 3 pairs of rectangles. And then let's simplify a bit with bomb dust. So multiplication first. And I'm just going to go 2 times 8 times 5 straight in my calculator. 80 plus, so 6 times 2 is 12 times 5 is 60 plus, yeah, I'm not that good at that. 2 times 8 times 6, 96. 80 plus 60 plus 96, 236. We nearly got our total surface area. Area means square meters or whatever you input. So that's how we get it. And you might look on your formula sheet and see that. But I just want you to think you've got a front and back. So just do 2 times the front to cover those. You've got 2 sides. So just 2 times your side rectangle. And then you have your top and bottom. So you just times the top by 2 to get that total. Notice how these formulas are derived. And then I think, yeah, this is the last one for today. So let's try and get it done. Hopefully in under 20. Might not work. We'll see. With surface area, you're calculating the net of the shape. You've got to draw the net of the shape. So this is a square-based pyramid. Think of how it folds up to make that pyramid. It's quite a fun shape, this one. Whoops, sticky keys. Get me every time. All right. Maybe you want to define that that's a square by putting these marks. And then if it's a triangle, we've got that height there too. All right. We've drawn our net. Now let's put some dimensions on it. So the dimensions of the square is 5 meters. And then we've got these 4 rectangles and we know that that's 6 meters. And if I come to my formula sheet, actually just before that, let's just work out the formula for the total surface area of square-based pyramid. It's going to be, you're right, the area of a square plus 4 times area of triangle. And we know how to calculate. We know all the formulas for a square and a triangle. So that's our plan. So now let's execute it. Area of a square. Well, that's side squared, sometimes known as L squared, whatever you like. Now, what's the rule for area of a triangle? So we've got to do 4 times the area of a triangle. We know that that is half times base times height. So there's a 4 here because there's 4 triangles, the same size. And when we come down to our formula sheet for a square base pyramid, we can see that we have, sorry, I had to pause the video and look at that for a second. So we've got the L squared is the B squared, was the base of this, or that's just another formula for the length. And we've got 2BH. All right, how did we get 2? 4 times a half is 2. So that's just the formula that they use on the formula sheet. But I think it's just nice just to be able to derive it yourself to make sense of this formula and know you can get it. So area of the square, length squared. What's the length of this square? 5. 4 times a half, which we know is 2, times the base times the height. So we're looking at the triangle for this part. The base of that triangle is 5, right? Because all these are equal sides. So 2 times 5 times the height of that, the perpendicular height of that triangle. And let's simplify it a bit. So BIDMAS means brackets, which there is none. Indices, we can do that. Multiplication, okay, let's do that. 2 times 5 is 10, times 6 is 60. And last of all, 60 plus 20 is 80, plus 5 is 85. Give meaning to our answer. We input meters, and we are finding the area, the surface area, so we should get out meters squared. And that's all about time. I can't even talk anymore. Going for too long. But just remember, if you're not given these formulas on your formula sheet, definitely draw a net and just add up all the 2D shapes that you see. All right? Hopefully this helped. If you're still listening, have a great day. Then I can't pause the video.